Morning. It is so great to see all of you. I can barely see all of you, but it's great. My name is David Halperin. I'm the Director of Campus Progress, and thank you. I know that maybe at least one or two of you might be wondering what the heck is sticking out of that dude's arm. Well, I'm going to get to that in a second, but first I want to thank Senator John Edwards for his remarks, for his commitment to fighting poverty. Let's give him a hand one more time. And I want to thank you for coming. Once again this year, we're proud to say we have over 1,000 young people here from all 50 states and the District of Columbia. And Guam, we're coming for you. Now, I want you to make some noise today because we are live on C-SPAN. C-SPAN 3. But that means eventually we'll be on C-SPAN regular. And everybody will be able to watch, like over the weekend, call up. One time I called, I asked them to play something they did. It's like a DJ. They don't know always what they're going to play. If you lean on them, they might play it. If you're watching on C-SPAN 3, I hope you'll visit us at campusprogress.org and find out about our programs, what we do in journalism and activism and events. And I also hope you'll look at Campus Progress Action's new blog, pushback.org. A new generation of young people speaking out on the issues. Now, this is our 4th year of doing this, and I finally have the good sense to ask someone younger than me and smarter than me to tell you what the conference is about, what Campus Progress is about, and discuss the challenges facing the progressive youth movement. So in a moment, not yet, I will turn the podium over to my colleague Erica. But I do want to make just a few points before I do that. First of all, I am very, very glad that this is the last Campus Progress Conference where George Bush and Dick Cheney are occupying the White House. And messing up the country for the rest of us. Second of all, I'm glad to be alive. 2 months ago, I was biking to work. I was trying to be green, like you, trying to help Al Gore and all that. I met a driver who did not share our values. And put another way, I met an evildoer. I landed in the street. I broke my elbow pretty bad. I had this RoboCop device on for a while. Now, there are advantages. You don't have a cup holder attached to you. MP3 input. And I meet a lot of people. Especially drunk people who want to come up and hug me and share stories. But please, please be careful out there on your bike. And I hope we can all work for changes so that we can make biking safer in all our communities. Now, be careful is my kind of personal advice today, but my real advice always when I talk with young people is be prepared. Now that's the scouting motto. Who's a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout here? Anybody? Not me. Be prepared. That means you don't just show up at a meeting or a job interview and say, hey, I'm here. You think about what's going to happen. You get ready. You be prepared. I can tell you all kinds of stories about when I was sort of prepared, when I worked on Capitol Hill as a lawyer, when I worked as a speechwriter for President Clinton, where I had to kind of wing it. That's not good. Think about what might happen, what you might be asked, and be ready. Now, 4th point I want to make is you need to be prepared because progressives, we are in for the fight of our lives this year and beyond. We have the facts on our side, we have the arguments on our side, but right-wingers have the resources, they have the machine. They're always ready to peddle misinformation and distortions and appeals to people's worst instincts. I believe that progressives will prevail this year because of you. Because young people will make the difference. Because you're smart and resourceful and creative and engaged. If you are young and progressive, it is possible, it is just possible, that you are about to take over the world. But in order to succeed, you have to do the work. You have to make the commitment. You have to be prepared. You have to take action. And I want to add, and this is what I really want to talk about before Erica comes out. You need to be proud of who you are and what you stand for. Now, pride is one of the 7 deadly sins. But to me, it depends on what kind of pride you're talking about, because if you have deeply held values and you act on them, then you should be proud. Now, this is the hard part for me, because I always choke up when I talk about this. I always go back to a letter that was written several decades ago by a woman named Agatha Davis. Her husband was Benjamin Davis. He was admitted to the U.S. Military Academy at West Point in 1932. Simply because he was African American, Davis's fellow cadets tried to drive him out of the academy by refusing to speak with him. He ate alone. He had no roommate. But he made it through 4 years and eventually became the first African American general in the Air Force. 40 years later, Mrs. Davis wrote to another cadet who had been silenced by his classmates. And this is what she wrote. Excuse me. I think I know what your life at the academy must have been. My best friend spent 4 years of silence at the Point, West Point. From 1936, when I married that best friend of mine, until 1949, I too was silenced by his classmates and their wives. There will always be those who will stand in your way. Don't resent them, just feel sorry for them and hold your head high. If you are different, hold your head high. If you are determined, hold your head high. Or as a young writer once put it eloquently, walk tall or don't walk at all. This is a year of so many breakthroughs, like the Davises' breakthrough, but even bigger. And it is unfortunate, it is outrageous, that political operatives have tried to smear one candidate for office by claiming falsely that he is a Muslim. But it's just as outrageous that any American would consider being a Muslim an automatic smear on someone's character. I am very proud today that our conference will feature for the 2nd year in a row one of the most outstanding members of Congress, who happens to be the only Muslim ever elected to Congress, Representative Keith Ellison of Minnesota. I'm also proud we'll feature another remarkable House member, Linda Sanchez of California, as well as some of our favorite activists and journalists. And I'm very excited that Ted Leo, M1, Yellow Rage, Paul Flores, and Ryan Gosling are all back with Campus Progress this year to speak with you. But I'm proudest the most of you and all the partner organizations that we work with and all the work we've done together, and thank you for including me in some of it, to build youth power in America over the last 4 years. In the past, as Senator Edwards was saying, politicians didn't care what young people thought. They said you don't vote, you don't organize, you don't pay attention. Now they're listening to you. You are building youth power, and that in turn will build progressive power. And not just for the far-flung future, but for right now. But you need to act. If you stand up for what you believe in, good things can happen. If you stand up for economic change, then maybe you can leave college with good, meaningful jobs and health care and the chance to live someplace besides the basement of your parents' house. Stand up also so that high school students, the ones coming after you, in every neighborhood in this country, can walk to schools that are actually ready to teach them and to do so without fear of violence. Stand up so racism and sexism are defeated and so the government can't block you from marrying the person you love. Stand up so children in every country, from Sudan to Haiti to everywhere else, can imagine a hopeful future without violence and disease and poverty, and where people in Russia and China are no longer imprisoned for what they believe. And stand up so we never again send brave young American men and women into war with no plan to win the peace. If you stand up for what you believe in, and you struggle for what you believe in, and you hold your head high, then we can have the great country and world that all of you deserve. And now, I want to introduce a woman who every day reaffirms my profound belief that young people have the power, the vision, and the determination to take this country back. Erica Williams. Thank you.